The next part of configuring workflow templates is the contents of the templates themselves. And this will dictate what tasks get done, what emails get sent, and what internal deadlines are hit. Now, there are a number of different subtask types to understand. The first is email templates, and there are two types available. The first is a manual email template. This is where Pixie will create the email template for you, but you'll have to send the email manually. The second is an automated email template, and in this case, Pixie will actually send the email for you automatically to the client. As well as emails, we also have instructions, and instructions are a subtask where you can specify a step that needs to be completed. Now, these can be as simple or as advanced as you like, and you can break these down with checklist steps to make them even more granular. The other subtask type that we have available is internal deadlines, and internal deadlines are milestones within your workflow, and these allow you to create internal targets to hit in order to get work done on time. So let's jump into Pixie and we'll talk you through the second part of the workflow template configuration. So now that we understand the basic configuration of workflow templates, let's take a look at the second part, which is actually what does this workflow template consist of from a task or email standpoint. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to use our year-end accounts workflow template here. So we're going to edit the template and we've already got the first step set up. We're going to click on next and that's going to take us through to the next step. So the first thing to note is that everything you see from a workflow template standpoint in Pixie is completely flexible and customizable. For all of these steps here, if you click on these lines to the left, you can drag and drop to move them up and down, and this will help you to reorder things. If you want to, you've also got the option of adding new subtasks by clicking on Add Subtask. Choose a name, choose a type, and then go through and click Save. You can then reorder this subtask to the place that it needs to be in this workflow. If there's anything in the workflow template that's redundant, or maybe you want to take it out, simply click on the step, scroll down, click Remove, and that will take it out of the workflow template. So now that we understand a little bit more about how to move and adjust these workflow templates, let's take a look at what the various elements of the templates are. So the first thing to look at is email templates. And with email templates, you'll notice that there are two kinds. We have automated emails and manual emails. An automated email means that Pixie will send this email automatically for you, depending on where it falls within this workflow. So with this example right here, the automated email is step number 1. What this means is that the moment this task gets created, and at the moment this is set to trigger on the client's year-end date, this email will get sent automatically to the client without you needing to do anything. Now, if I was to move this automated email to step number 2, the trigger for sending this email now would be the completion of this step beforehand. So the moment we complete this step, this will then trigger the automated email to send. And the same goes if you have automated emails at any other point in the workflow. The trigger to send them is the completion of all of the subsequent steps that have taken place. So the difference between automated and manual is that the manual email template won't get sent for you automatically. In order to actually send this email, you would need to go into the task, make any adjustments to the email, and then manually click send. Now, the benefit of doing this is that firstly, it gives you a little bit more control over the content of the email template, making it easy to customize and personalize. Secondly, it also allows you a bit more control if you don't feel that comfortable with automated emails. It just gives you some control over what's going out from your business to your clients. Now, these email templates are really easy to customize. We have the contents of the email here, which you can edit as you please. And you'll also notice that we have a number of these placeholders, like the contact's first name and the task's deadline. You can add as many of these placeholders in here as you like. For example, we could insert a placeholder here for the client name, which will tell them what business we're writing to them about in a situation where a contact might own multiple businesses. Another placeholder that's often handy to include is the secure upload link. We'll cover more how this works in the file management section, but for now, if we include it, it will make it really easy for your clients to upload documents to you directly from the email. Now, in terms of who the email will send from, the email will always send directly to the primary contact on a contact record. So now we've got the email template saved, we're going to save that subtask. The next thing to look at is instructions. And instructions allow you to specify what needs to happen within a particular step. These can be as basic or as advanced as you'd like, but essentially they need to include some instructions on what needs to happen within this box here. You can have bullet points, or if you wanted to, you could even create checklists by clicking on the checklist icon here. That will create tick boxes that people can tick off as they work through this particular step. You've also got the option of customizing these a little bit further by adding in things like headings. What you could also do is embed a video. This allows you to turn the template into a training manual for the team so that they always know what to do. In order to do that, you simply click on this icon, insert the URL, and that will embed a video directly into the task, showing your team exactly what they need to do. You also have the ability within these instructions to embed the placeholders that we saw in the emails earlier. So for example, you can embed these client date fields, as well as a number of different options. You might also choose to bring through additional placeholders for things like client name and any other custom fields that you've created for that particular client. Now, as well as instructions, the final element that you have available in workflow templates is internal deadlines. And you can see these internal deadlines here. I've already got a number of them going throughout my workflow template, and these are really handy for breaking your workflow down into milestones that allow you to set targets for when you want work to get done. So in this example here, we've got milestones 1 month after the task has started to make sure we've got all of the information gathered from the client. We've then got another milestone 5 months after the task has started to make sure we've got all of the information prepared and the accounts ready. And finally, we have another milestone 6 months later to make sure that we've got the accounts finalized. What we might choose to do, for example, is add another milestone right here. And this would be 6 months after the task has started. We can then move this to the point where it needs to be. Now that you understand a bit more about what's possible, let's take a look at what this looks like in practice and how you can use both the internal deadlines and the email templates as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a task. And I'm going to assign it to this client here. And I'm just going to set the deadline to be in 1 month's time. Now for the manual email template, you'll see here that the email has been populated with things like the name of the client, the name of the business, the task deadline, as well as the link to the document portal. What you have here now is the ability to edit this email template with any of the items that you need. And once you're happy, you can click into the To field. It will show you the email address of any linked contacts. You can then select them, click on Send, and the email will be sent from Pixie. Once you've completed that, you can move on to the next step, and you can start to tick these things off as you work through them. You'll notice that once we mark this as done, the internal deadline has turned green, and we can move on with the rest of the task. In terms of what these deadlines look like in the rest of your to-do list, if I go to my Work tab, you can see here that I've got the year-end accounts job, and it's telling me that my next deadline is the 10th of May. but my overall due date is the 31st of August. This allows me to filter by my next deadline in order to bring these tasks further up my to-do list, making it easier for me to work on them on time. By now, you should have a solid understanding of how to configure and build out the steps in your workflows. So your next step should be to pick one workflow template, any template, and you can create a brand new one or even edit an existing one in your workspace. And I want you to try and set this template up the way that you want it to be. Feel free to refer back to these videos if you're unsure about how to best configure it, or even reach out through support and we'll be more than happy to help you there.